Yo, Jagex just buffed the Granite Hammer, so let's see if it's any good. Let's start off with the Grotesque Guardians. It actually took me forever to get this as a task. So the Granite Hammer now has a 30% damage and accuracy bonus against Golem type creatures. This is going to be huge for low level players and possibly even Iron Men. The hammer only requires 50 attack and strength to wield and can be purchased off the Grand Exchange for around 2.3 mil, or you can receive it as a drop from the Grotesque Guardians. According to the wiki, it's 2 out of 750. So basically it's 1 out of 375. It's quite an interesting time for this buff to come out, considering the new meta now involves just using the Noxious Halberd and not needing to bring a range switch with you. The hammer's a 4-tick weapon and has a special attack that deals an attack with 50% increased accuracy while guaranteeing 5 additional damage to that attack. However, you need 60% special to use it, just like the Granite Maul. Let me check the DPS calculator and do some comparisons. So the Granite Hammer with my gear on task, Divine Combat Piety is about 9.9. I'll compare it to some other crush weapons. So with the Zombie Axe is 10.4 and the axe is more DPS on slash rather than having it on crush. The Inquisitor's Mace is 11.8, the Abyssal Bludgeon is 11.1, then we have the Noxious Halberd at 11.4. And we can't forget about everyone's favourite budget weapon, the Fang. I know it's not a crush weapon, but still it's at 11, which is kinda crazy. That's actually quite interesting, so let's use the Zombie Axe as an example. You need 65 attack to use it, compared to having level 50 attack and strength for the Granite Hammer. The Zombie Axe is 1.5 mil and the Granite Hammer is 2.3 mil. The hammer is 4 ticks and the axe is 5 ticks. However, the hammer only attacks with crush, whereas the Zombie Axe has a slash and crush style option. So this hammer at Grotesque Guardians is only good for people who don't have 65 attack for a Zombie Axe. You need 75 Slayer to be able to get Gargoyles and Grotesque Guardians as a Slayer task. By that time, most people will be way above 50 attack and strength. I'm actually not 100% sure if the OSRS wiki calculator is actually calculating the 30% damage and accuracy bonus. Realistically, it probably is, because it says down here monster attributes and it clearly says Golem. I've done like 10 kills here so far. It's doing well, like really well. I'm hitting a lot of 50s, but still it really depends on whether or not the calculator is up to date. Plus the Noxious Halberd is still better here and it's more chill. Next up, we got the OG Slayer monster, Gargoyles. The DPS calculator isn't looking too bad here either. So the hammer on crush versus Gargoyles is nearly 10.6. With a Zombie Axe on crush it's 10.9, so the axe wins again, but it's pretty close. I'm actually shredding these Gargoyles. It's actually a really good weapon here. However, the Zombie Axe is still slightly better. At the moment, it just feels kind of a pointless update since we barely have any Golem-type creatures. So unless Jagex plans on adding more Golem-type monsters in the future, it's going to be dead content. Don't get me wrong, the hammer is a good strength training weapon for low level players, but if we're talking about the 30% damage and accuracy bonus to Golem-type creatures, then it's just kinda useless. Deep in the Enchanted Valley, only accessible with a fairy ring, you'll find a pile of rocks that you can mine. When you do mine one, you'll end up spawning a rock golem. This brings back so many memories from the early days of RuneScape. So in the early days of RuneScape, there was a chance to spawn a rock golem while mining. Of course, you could just run away, but if you was AFK, you'll probably end up dying, and they had no gravestones back then, so you would end up losing all your stuff. But anyway, these golems only appear in the Enchanted Valley. The golems come in 6 different levels, from level 14 all the way up to 154, depending on your mining level. So from 3 to 10 mining gives you level 14, 91 and above you can get the level 154s. The loot's pretty garbage too. You can get items like runes, low level ores, dwarven stouts, hammers, pickaxes. Bro, imagine if someone was actually crazy enough to come here on an Iron Man just so they can get a rune pickaxe. Oh no way, I actually just double checked the wiki, so they do actually have some high level ores and bars that you can receive as drops. When sailing comes out, Jagex is adding a wide range of supplies including ores, so it would be interesting if they could find a way to revive or rework these rock golems. Wouldn't it be interesting too if you could kill this rock golem for the rock golem pet? After all, it's a mining pet and both are called rock golems, so it makes sense in a way. But anyway, back to the Granite Hammer. No new player is ever going to be killing rock golems, so I guess the hammer is useless here too. Plus the rock golems have 0 defense bonuses, so there's so many better weapons to use here. On the way to the wilderness resource area, I'm starting to think Jagex actually hates golems. Anyway, inside of the resource area you can find 2 Runite Golems wandering around. So these golems are quite unique. When you kill one, it turns into a Runite rock, which you can mine if you have 85 mining. Also, players who have 99 mining automatically get a 10% damage and accuracy bonus versus these Runite golems. So far the hammer doesn't seem to be doing too well here, but I am using cheap gear, plus I've never seen anyone do a video comparing mining Runite rocks to killing Runite golems for rune ore. So just like the other golems, they have 0 defense bonuses, and I've never seen this before either. They have a 60% weakness to earth spells. I've never seen the number that high before. Usually monsters have 40% elemental weakness. These golems are so bad, so after you kill the 2 golems, you have to world hop due to them taking 5 minutes to respawn. So imagine if we had like 5 to 10 players doing this and hopping worlds, eventually everyone would run out of golems. Not to mention, every time you world up, you end up outside of the resource area and you have to pay a fee of 7.5 to 3.7k depending on what diary you have completed. If you have the Elite Wilderness Diary, you can enter for free, but like having to pay every time you world up is just insane. 2 Runite ores are like 23k, then minus the fee depending on what diary you have completed. Then on top of that, you have to keep an eye out for PKs. This place seriously needs a rework ASAP. Speaking of reworks, the Runite Golems actually got a tiny update this year. The most useful one was lowering the HP from 170 to 120. The ruins of Camdozul, a secret area hidden inside of the Ice Mountain, which requires the quest below Ice Mountain to enter. Down here you will find 4 types of Golem-bane creatures. First up we have the level 14 flawed Golems, and yes, finally Jagex did it right. These Golems are weak to crush. In fact, all 4 of them are weak to crush, as they should be. The average loot is worth around 68 GP. You can get some ores, clay, uncuts. They even drop beginner clue scrolls, but no actual drop rate has been given. They also drop the Baronite shards and the guard, which is used to make the Baronite mace and the Incando hammer. Both items count as collection log slots. The Incando hammer functions as a regular hammer and can be wielded in either the weapon or shield slot, so it's a great item for minigames and skill bosses such as Wintertide. You can have a hammer and an axe equipped at the same time. Even at Temperosh, you can have a hammer and a dragon harpoon at the same time, so you save an inventory space. It's even nice for Barbarian Assault if you're doing the defender role, saves an inventory space and you can pair it with a shield. Mind Golems level 30, pretty much similar to the flawed Golems, however the average loot is worth 109 GP. They actually have a cool little item called a Mind Core, which is 1 out of 7.5. This core is like a rune essence and can be used at the Mind Altar. It gives 55 rune crafting XP and 11 mind runes. The ruins of Camdozul is also a free to play area, so this might be a really good underrated training method for free to play players. Body Golems level 50, the average loot is worth almost 140 GP. I was expecting way more. Thinking about it now, these Golems are probably the only place the Granite Hammer is useful for low level players. Without the collection log, there probably would be no reason to come here, but you can get Baronite shards from fishing and mining. That's what I did instead of killing the Golems when I was hunting for the collection log slots. The body golems drop body cores. They give 75 rune crafting XP and 11 body runes, and again the drop rate is 1 out of 7.5. I feel like a lot of new or free to play players don't even know this place exists. Like, it would be a lot better if it wasn't locked behind a quest and maybe turned into a city instead of hidden inside of a mountain. The final golem in the mountain, the Chaos Golem level 70, the average loot is worth 371 GP, much better but still not that good, and these Chaos Golems are members only. Just like the Mind and Body Golems, they drop cores. The Chaos Core, it gives 85 rune crafting XP and 11 Chaos runes. Jagex also updated the Chaos Golems the same time they updated the Runite Golems in June of 2025. Now they have elemental weaknesses, but more importantly, they lowered the HP from 94 to 71. Lastly, we have quite a few Golem quest bosses, such as the Golem Guard from the Curse of Arav and the Ancient Guardian from Desert Treasure 2. So overall at the moment, the Granite Hammer is pretty useless versus Golem creatures unless you're killing the Golems in the ruins of Camdozul for collection log slots. It will be interesting to see in the near future if Jagex does decide to add some more Golem creatures to the game, and even if they decide to upgrade the Granite Hammer to something new.
You know what to do next. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a wonderful comment down below. Thanks for watching, take care, bye.